Hello. I think I'm live now. Let me see if I'm live. Let me see. Yeah, I'm live. All right. So hi. This is going to be a stream where I talk about the last pending skit, and I kind of go over. Oops. Sorry. Because I have to look at chat on my phone. Because I'm gonna be using my computer to show you like the skit, this timeline. So yeah, I figured I'd go through this and I talk about the skit, and if people have like questions or just want to talk about anything really, we can talk about that too. Let me see if I can move pending a little bit because I am hiding a bit. Where am I? Pending, where are you? There you are. Okay, that's good. Yes, okay. Alright, so yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, okay. So, first off, I figured I'd just talk a little bit about, like, why I made this, well, like, the idea behind the skit in the first place. And the idea behind the skit was actually that Moe did a stream recently where she was watching a public domain movie with with her with her chat, and uh, because it was like a black and white movie, she like had Moe be monochrome, and I thought that looked really cool, and I thought I really would like a skit where Pending's monochrome. So and you can see here monochrome Pending, and and I was thinking, well, why would Pending be monochrome? And the idea that I had was that Pending would would want to be a horror game. At first, it was just going to be that Pending wanted to be spooky, but then I thought it would be funnier if Pending literally wanted to be a horror game. Like he decided that he's a game AI. And I kind of went from there as far as the writing of the skit goes. That's usually how it works. Is like I have like a very loose idea of one thing that I want to do, and then it kind of flows from there. Uh, like after that, like I had some basic ideas of things that Pending could do outside of being monochrome to like uh to like be spooky. Like I liked the idea that Penny could make the walls bleed, but he didn't understand why he could make the walls bleed. Um, and I liked the idea that he was creating this mist, and like despite the fact that he was creating the mist, and despite the fact that the walls were bleeding, like things weren't particularly spooky. It's just that he had seen these things and he knew that they were spooky. Oh, hey, chat wasn't working for me, but I see now. Hello, Miyuki. Hello, Levy. Hello, Masky. Hello, VTuber Fukushima Genshiro. Hello, Roku. Hello, Tinkle. Hello, Azake. I thought no one was talking in chat because I couldn't see it, but now I see that people were talking in chat. So hang on, let me see if I can get this working so I can actually see chat on my phone. Uh, so one second. Okay, there we go. Now I think I'll be able to see chat on my phone. Hello, Konami. How's everyone doing? Yeah, so I like if you guys have like specific things that that you have questions about or want to talk about during this, just feel free to ask, and I'll be keeping an eye on chat now that I got chat working. Yeah, wall bleeding is super annoying. Hey Tinkle, hey Tara, hey Black Ison. So one thing I really wanted to do is like when I was writing the script, I had like this line at the end about how subtitles. Here, I'll just play the line. Actually, there's no. I already have it set up, so there's no particular reason why I wouldn't. Here we go.
I wish I could be a fly on that wall.
Yeah, then there's the little pause there.
I should have asked Pending to turn off the mist and wall bleeding before he left. I feel like I'm at the start of a bad movie.
So I wrote in that line, and I wasn't sure at first if the walls were actually going to literally bleed for the entire like skit, because my initial thought was, well, how long is that effect going to last? And the answer is like the actual effect only lasts like 20-ish seconds, but I super slowed it down so that it would last for the entire skit. And I had to do the same thing with the mist too. The mist effect only lasts like 30 or 40 seconds, but I slowed it down so that it would last for the entire skit. And I think that worked fairly well because there was the initial like bleed, and then it mostly just stays there and like gets a little bit bleedier as time goes on. The AC stream, and he drew a portrait and he called the piece of art Smart Boy. Yeah, I'm the smart boy, right? When he drew a piece of art called Smart Boy, it was of me, right? Right? I'm gonna just assume it was me. So yeah, that was I was happy that I could get like the blood to like the walls to bleed for the entire skit. All right, so anyways, I wanted to like that all started because I wanted to talk about like why I was monochrome, and then I kind of jumped topics a little bit. Yeah, I know chess and stuff, not well. Like Killjoy actually knows chess like really well, and I understand the rules of chess, but I'm not particularly good at chess. Go is a game I'm better at. Hey, Wildfire, I really like Go. I don't play it a lot, but Go is a really interesting game. Yeah, I'd like to play more board games in general. That would be nice. So yeah, I guess we'll start at the beginning. Wanna play 5D chess? What's 5D chess? Is that like the chess they play in Star Trek, or is that one 3D chess? So the skit starts, as all skits do, with like the intro, and this intro, the animation's done by Argama, and I love it. So like it's at the beginning of like every skit. There's been one or two skits where I don't have the intro in it for mood reasons. Like if the skit is very serious, then I don't have the intro because the intro is very upbeat. There's also been one occasion where like I had the intro, but like I didn't have like the normal music, and I had the intro be black and white so that it would fit more with the mood of that particular skit. That's the visual novel skits. 5D chess with multiverse time travel, it's called. Oh, interesting. It's the 5-dimensional chess where you can go to the future and the past. Oh, that sounds super interesting. I don't know how that works. So yeah, it starts with the intro, as all skits do, and then like when I was originally planning out the skits, it was going to be like any other skit where they're kind of just where it's Penning and subtitles standing on opposite sides and they're talking to each other. And technically speaking, that's what's happening in this skit too. But I am the spoopiest. And hello, Macy. This skit brings you energy, although it's 3 a.m., so it's kind of a mixed bag then. But hopefully this stream will help you go to sleep or stay up if you have to stay up. Hopefully the stream will do what you want it to do. I hope. So this skit was originally going to be like any other, where it's like Penny and Subtitles standing on opposite sides. But it used to be like, obviously it was just Penny and he was looking at the camera, or if there was like another character there, it was like a guest character. But now that I have both Penny and Subtitles, like there's an opportunity there to try and film things at different angles and stuff, and that's inherently tricky because you can film things at different angles, but like you can't film Pending and Subtitles at the same time. So when you film things at two different angles, you actually have to like insert them into the angles. Like if you look at uh, well, let's look at this for an example. This is like a really standard shot. So this is Pending and Subtitles. Both of them had to be filmed separately, and like obviously they exist on their own layers, as you can see. And it's tough because even like a shot like this is tough because like when I'm filming Pending and when I'm filming Subtitles, I don't quite know how to get them to look at each other. So I kind of like eyeball it as best I can. Like I know Subtitles is taller than Pending, so Subtitles should look down and Pending should look up, but there's always like the risk that Pending's going to end up looking above her head. And then like because Subtitles hasn't been around for long, getting the height difference between them consistent has been like a moving target. And because of this skit where I shot them at so many different angles, I actually started to think as I was doing the skit, like exactly how much taller is Subtitles depending. And you can see later on, I decided that the way I was going to do it is I was going to try and have it targeted so that the top of Penning's ears, cat ears, match up with Subtitles S. So that was roughly what I was doing. Uh, are you 5'11", Mr. Pending? So Pending the character is actually 4'8". But that's because Pending the character is 10. Me the person, I'm actually pretty tall. I'm 6'1". But yeah, Pending's canonical height is 4'8". So that's why like he's almost always shorter than whoever else is in the skit with him. Because something I've learned about a lot of VTubers is a lot of VTubers are pretty short. So like there's not like a huge height difference between Pending and a lot of VTubers, but that's not so much because Pending is relatively tall. It's actually because they're all really short. So they're short to the extent that like a 10-year-old isn't that much shorter than them. So yeah. Yeah, I'm a tall boy. Pending is not, but Pending's still growing. Maybe one day he'll become a tall boy too. Uh yeah, there's a lot of times where like Pending ends up looking over Subtitles and it's more like Pending looking at the ribbon. It's a little easier with Subtitles because Subtitles looking down, even if Subtitles isn't making eye contact with Pending, at least Subtitles is looking at like the general body of Pending, whereas Pending's overshooting entirely. So that's a challenge, and it's even more challenging because I wanted to do a bunch of different angles in this one. Um, and you're like 5'8". Yeah, 5'8" is good too. All heights are good. Every height is nice. But yeah, I am tall boy. When I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming 6 feet, and you know, I reached my dream. So that you know, set your goals in life really low, and I guess you meet your goals. It's I don't know. I it's just such a weird thing that growing up that was my dream. It's like I want to be a certain height. It's like it's not that I want to be a doctor or an astronaut or something. I just want to be 6 feet. So you know I got that. Uh, I just got big sister vibes from subtitles in that scene you were just on. Yeah, well, subtitles is kind of like I mean, subtitles and pending. I don't really write them as two people that have a familiar relationship with each other, like a family relationship. But subtitles is in a way a big sister of pending. Hello, Oscule, which is like uh, someone someone asked me recently, why is it that subtitles is an adult and penning is a child when subtitles is actually like canonically a week younger than pending? Because pending was made December 2018. Like the very first video on the channel with pending in it, that's actually when pending was activated canonically. So pending, in terms of like how long he's existed as an AI, is like a year and a half now, slowly approaching 2 years. Whereas subtitles was made a week later. Like there was a video, like I made myself a friend, and that was the second pending skit, and that came out like a week after the first pending skit, and that was the first skit to have subtitles in it. And so that was when subtitles was made. So subtitles is technically younger than pending, but subtitles is also much smarter than pending and a lot more mature than pending. So people wondering how is it possible that subtitles is an adult but also at the same time younger than pending. That's the joke. That's kind of the joke of the thing, is that pending is technically the older one. But I also like to like, now that subtitles is her own character in the sense that she has a body now, I can kind of play with the whole idea that she's not as like knowledgeable as she leads on. Like she has like things about her that I'm just wondering, why is there a gap? Oh, okay. It's because I zoomed out so much. She has things about her that she's rather ignorant about, but unlike Pending, she doesn't so much acknowledge even to herself that she's ignorant about those subjects. She just assumes that she's already come to the accurate conclusion, the logical conclusion, even if she doesn't really have the experience to back that up, which is something that kind of shines a lot in the romantic subplot, although we're still very early on in the romantic subplot. And I'm still very nervous about writing the romantic subplot because I've never written romance before. Which is also, yeah, that's because Pending would always be 9 years old. Well, another thing about, like, why is Pending a kid? It's because, like, he was, like, the canonical reason why Pending would be a kid is because he was built to be a kid. He was built by Hilliard specifically to be like this. Like this isn't a design flaw. This is how Hilliard wanted Pending to be. Whereas Pending, when Pending was trying to make subtitles, Pending was just trying to make an AI friend. So Pending wasn't putting in any of the inherent limitations that Pending has when making subtitles. But Pending wasn't really thinking about it in those terms. So yeah, the canonical reason why Pending is a kid is specifically because he was built to be a kid. Yeah, and there's like a little scene here that kind of teases that, which is here. I'll play that scene.
Okay. Whatever. Pending, why do you even think you are a game?
Well, I was thinking that people make AIs, so I must have been made for a reason, right?
So yeah, this is like kind of flashbacks to earlier skits. We can kind of see. I blurred it out to make it harder, but I took like seeds from some of the more serious Pending skits that talk like about the lore behind Pending, and I threw them in there for kind of the quick flashes. And then I have kind of a moment of like quiet there, because my biggest fear about doing that part of it was that it kind of messes with the overall mood of the skit, which is silliness, and this is a more serious thing. So my hope was that if I slowly bring it back to the silliness afterwards, it would be fine. And I don't know if I succeeded in that. You would know better than me if it worked. It made you jump again? Yeah, it's hard to gauge if this is like going to be a bit of a startling thing, because obviously when I do it, I'm anticipating it, but I would assume that someone else wouldn't have like anticipated that happening the first time. But hopefully it's a good jump. That's the goal. Yeah. So yeah, that is why Pending is Kid. But I wanted to try and like do more dynamic camera shots just to make it a little bit more interesting. It's also a lot harder because then like the upside of filming everything where they're like facing each other, like this kind of shot for example, is if I shot that for the entire skit, then the filming of subtitles would have taken about 4 minutes, and then the filming of Penny would have taken about 4 minutes, and then it would have just been a question of lining them up. But because I was doing it like this, the filming actually took quite a while because I had to film at a lot of different angles. And then every time you film another part of it, you line it up again. So, and also to accommodate the fact that I wanted it to be at a lot of different angles, because it would be kind of jarring if it was at a lot of different angles, but the background remained static. So what I did was I created a new background. And let me see if I can find that background in here. So I can show you guys what it looks like. Or actually, you know what? Easier way of doing this. Let's just copy this, move it over here. All right, so what I did was, what I did was I created a super long background based on the original background. So this way, like, at different, like if it's at a different angle, the background will change to accommodate it. So like Pending is on the blue, purplish blue section. Subtitles is on like the like yellowish red section. If they're facing each other, they're kind of meeting in the middle there. So like depending on, so you got to kind of imagine like this background is kind of wrapping around them. So depending on the angle is like what you're gonna see. So like this is more in the greenish because it's just a direct shot on subtitles. This is more on the bluish because it's a direct shot on Pending. This is like dead center of the background because it's like literally just looking straight at them. You can see like the background is more leaning on subtitle side because the perspective is bent towards subtitles, and like you're bound to find a lot of inconsistencies here because I'm not very good visually, but that's what I was shooting for at least. So yeah. This is something I'm trying to do, and I even did that with the blood too. Like it became apparent really early on that I couldn't just simply have the blood effect slowly go throughout, because then anytime I changed perspectives, it would be jarring that the blood was the same. So I had to keep moving around the blood to make it look more plausible that Pending side of it was bleeding too, but it wasn't bleeding in the exact same way as subtitle side. So yeah, but I wanted to try this out, and I decided I do like kind of what I anticipated and what was the trickiest shot of this right off at the beginning, and that's where like it's dead on subtitles, and then it pans back to show Pending.
What I was going to ask.
This shot.
Why are you monochrome?
And I wasn't sure how to do this, and I'm still not entirely sure how to do this, because I wanted to, because like I'm very very bad at perspectives, and this is all about perspectives. Hey, you cat. I am explaining about the recent video, and the reason why I'm in PJs is because I was very sleepy and I slept most of the day. Because I stayed up to like 8 or 9 a.m. last night. So like I set an alarm to make sure I would wake up in time for this skit, and and yeah, so I slept a fair amount. I was gonna mention something from the dream I had, but then I realized I can't remember what my dream was. I remember it being noteworthy, but I can't remember what it is. The day before, I had a dream where where like people from like different countries were all gathered at different tables, like having tea and stuff. And I went up to one table and like I said something along the effects. It's like, no, I'm sorry, I've never had German tea before. And then I drank the tea. Oh yeah, I remember. I dreamt about this. I dreamt about this stream. That was what I was going to mention. Is I had a dream about the stream, and someone asked me in the dream about the stream, like how do you do the Penny voice? And I was saying, oh, that's basically my voice. And so that's not a very interesting answer, but apparently Dreamy felt that that was a question that would get asked. I don't know why, because the Penny voice is like not that far off from my own voice. No more late night Twitter binging for you. Yeah, I get caught up in things, or like I'm talking to people or whatnot, and like you stay up late. I mean, it could really be any number of things because there's a lot of different reasons why I stay up late. I guess the biggest one being that it's hard to shut off my brain and fall asleep. So oftentimes it's a situation where like I need to be overwhelmingly exhausted before I can sleep. So it it makes sleep difficult. But it is what it is. I'm glad you asked, Roku. So how I do the Penny voice is it's my voice, but it's just a little bit higher than my voice. And yeah, I tend to speak a lot louder when I'm doing the Penny voice because like Penny's very enthusiastic about everything. So he overemphasizes a lot. Hello, Terrence. And plus generally speaking, I feel like it's good to overemphasize uh, when uh, when attempting to do a performance of any kind because a lot of like the emphasis gets lost in the translation, it seems like. So even if in your head like you're projecting a certain emotion, odds are a lot of what you're projecting is actually not going to be conveyed. So you want to be overly dramatic to try and just achieve like a sense of normal emotion is what I've kind of noticed. Uh, you're staying up late watching pending stream, so I won't miss anything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the timing, Masky. Hopefully, other streams will be at a better time for you. I stream at pretty erratic times. I'll do some like later night streams, usually gaming streams, or like sometimes I'll do early morning streams that are usually like just chatting or maybe playing a game as well. A lot of my streams I do on Twitch, but I want to do some streaming on YouTube too. And this seemed like a good subject matter for a YouTube stream because like it's talking about the skin. Oh, I got a ding, but I don't know what the ding was. The ding was I got Kurumi Pile has followed, though I don't know if they followed on Twitch or on YouTube. But thank you either way if you're here for the follow. Yeah. Does it hurt when you do the voice most of the time? Actually, no. So, like, the Penny voice doesn't hurt my voice at all, because it's so close to my own voice. It just comes off. It just comes to me really naturally. Like, it's not a voice that I struggle to find. But if I'm doing like a really deep gravelly voice, which I don't do that much, and the reason why I don't do a deep gravelly voice that much is because that really hurts my throat. Like deeper voices, if I want to go deeper in general, that hurts my voice a lot. So I've actually been trying to do, like I've been doing some vocal exercises and stuff in general. Like I'm trying to do vocal exercises once a day. And my goal with that is hopefully to both improve my range and also make it so that I can sustain like deeper voices. It would also be nice if I could sustain higher voices, but I feel like my voice is already like on the higher end. So like the only thing that would be nice if I could do higher voices is like if I had a falsetto voice, then I could potentially voice some female characters too. Which would be nice because like the more characters that I can voice, the more characters that I can have. Because like right now, like subtitles, for example, isn't text to speech specifically because I love text to speech. She's text to speech because like there's no realistic way I could do a voice that would be good for subtitles. So yeah, so that's why subtitles is text to speech. Terrence, I'm doing well. I was talking earlier about how I slept most of the day, but I'm doing well. I'm hanging out with all of you guys, and this is nice. So yeah. So yeah, I wanted to do this tricky scene right off the top, and I wasn't really sure how to pull
Why are
this
you
off
monochrome?
I'm glad.
because it, at first I was thinking like, oh, it could just be like penning is literally just shorter than subtitles. So as it pans out, like you see, like penning just kind of pops into frame, and in a way that would have made sense. But I kind of wanted it to be like penning gets a little bigger as it goes further. So like penning actually is slightly shorter in the transition and then gets bigger. And also like the other thing is usually if I want to move something, I lock everything together. So in Adobe Premiere there's this thing called nesting. And what nesting is you combine pieces, separate layers of video together. So like this is within a nest. This is subtitles, this is penning, and then this is the background. And I nested them all together. And the reason why I would want to do that is because I wanted to have something where if I told it to affect one, it would affect all three. So in this case, I wanted to do a zoom. So like here's where we start, and I want to slowly zoom on pending over time. And like because I nested all three of them together, as I'm moving the camera, everyone is staying steady. The only thing that's changing is the camera. And you can use nesting for a lot of things. Like if I wanted to nest, like with these three nested together, if I wanted to say change the brightness, I can change the brightness, and it's going to change the brightness of everything all at once. Whereas if it wasn't nested all together, it would just change the brightness of whatever layer I was playing with at the time. So here's subtitles over here. So let's mess with the brightness of subtitles. So like you can see I'm making subtitles darker here, and now I made subtitles into like a silhouette, but nothing else has changed because subtitles wasn't nested with the rest of them. So there's benefits to not nesting and there's benefits to nesting. As a general rule of thumb, do what you want to do with like the individual layers first, and then nest as a last step to bring them all together to do something like a zoom. But you can see in this instance, they're not nested together. So like it's me like manually moving the background and trying to move the background in such a way that it roughly matches up. And it mostly succeeds, but if you look at it closely, you can see that there's some inconsistency there because it wasn't nested together. You also thought subtitles had a Chinese dress on. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's not a dress that subtitles is wearing. I don't know if there's a full body shot of. Well, actually, I guess it is a. Well, it's kind of like a mini skirt that subtitles wears, and I guess it does have a Chinese aesthetic to it, doesn't it? It's meant to be kind of like militaristic, given like her like kind of take over the world mentality. So subtitles outfit is meant to reflect that, which by the way reminds me, at some point in the not too distant future, I'm gonna mention on Twitter that I'm seeking suggestions for what Penny and subtitles should wear for Halloween. Because even though Halloween's a ways off still, first off, actually, I got the idea from Ayumi because Ayumi's doing a thing where she's taking suggestions about what her character should wear for Halloween. And I told her I love that idea, and I asked her, is it okay if I steal that idea? She said I could steal it, so I'm gonna steal it. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little thing where I'll take suggestions on what Penny should wear and what subtitles should wear, and then I'll put it to vote. And the only like real rule is that it should be things that either of them would conceivably wear for Halloween. So like something that works within their character, something that like I could logic them, like if I was putting that outfit in a skit for Halloween, I can like have a logical reason why subtitles or Penny decided to wear this. And it's obviously a lot easier for Penny than subtitles because Penny's a lot more go with the flow kind of person. So like Penny would wear like almost anything if he thought it was cool or fun or like made him look nice or whatever. So yeah, that's the basic idea. And yeah, I'll do that later. And oh, you just woke up, Hakase. By the way, am I saying your name right? If I say it as Hakase, and I hope you had a good sleep too. You yeah, you had an idea for a Penny skit. Subtitles tries different text to speech voices to try and make yourself sound more intimidating. That would be a cool one. Like subtitles experimenting with different text to speech voices. I actually had an idea for a skit at one point where subtitles was going to like experiment with different VTuber voices. Like the rough idea of the skit is that subtitles was going to go around stealing people's voices and trying it on for size. But the trouble with that was the trouble with that idea was that like there would need to be a reason why subtitles ultimately rejected each voice that she got. So like it would come down to me having to write jokes at the expense of people's voices. And some people would be okay with that, but like I'm not sure how many like voices I could like how many different jokes I could potentially make about subtitles rejecting voices. You only slept like 2 hours? Oh, that's rough. I hope you have an opportunity to sleep more later. Although depending on what your schedule is, I know that might not be doable. You already have an idea of what you'd want both of us to wear? Mm-hmm. Well, you feel free to say it here, but also like when I make the Twitter thing, feel free to say it there too. I'll be open to suggestions because I'm not really sure what to wear, but I think it might be fun if like it's kind of like a community thing where people can pick their own things. By the way, you can see occasionally, or I don't know if you can see, but occasionally there's like a pop-up saying that Adobe Premiere is auto-saving. That is a wonderful feature that I love. So yeah, the autosave is really nice. It's not necessary right now because I'm not making any changes that I particularly need nor want to save because all I'm doing is like altering things slightly to show you different things. But it's very nice that it autosaves, even though Premiere in my experience is like really stable because my computer is not a particularly good computer. Like it's running hot right now. It's running like literally like it burns to touch my computer right now. That is how hot it's running. Because Premiere plus like streaming at the same time, but Premiere by itself is really really hard on the computer. But even then, Premiere doesn't really lag much. or rather, even then, Premiere doesn't like crash. Uh, so it's a very stable program. I like it. I think it's only crashed once, and I don't even know if that time was Premiere's fault. Oh, I wanted to point out something here. So, like when I was filming this scene, I think what happened was I wasn't quite sure how long I wanted this camera angle to last. So like I started ending the scene with penning, and like I was like getting ready to stop recording, and I decided that I wanted the scene to last a little longer. But like you can see where like I kind of stopped recording because penning like turns a little bit here towards the end, and there's just like this one moment like right here that I love because Pending just has like this super smug look on his face as he looks at the camera, and it's completely it makes no sense in any context. Pending his Speaking of Pending, I've moved. I'm just gonna move myself again. Where am I? There I am. Okay, there we go. Boop. There we go. Alright, so you can see like how silly that looks. But I also kind of love that expression. So it's just kind of like he's looking at the audience and it's like, you getting this? So yeah, I don't know why Pending had that expression, except to say I was probably like shifting at that time because I was getting ready to turn off the recording. And I kept it in there because, you know, I don't know. I probably should have re-recorded it, but like this was taking so much longer than a regular Pending skit does, and it's a little intimidating how long it took me to make this one. So I'm not sure if every skit is gonna have like all the different camera angles like this one did. Maybe it'll be kind of on and off whether or not it has it, because like all these different camera angles did take a while to do. So I will. Maybe I'll have like skits like this, but like a little bit less ambitious. A lot of the times, like one thing that was relatively easy to film. If we go over here, let me see what chat said first. Since we talked about the title of this stream is the scariest game ever, have we talked about Dark Deception? I'm trying to think. I've definitely heard of Dark Deception, but I don't know anything about it, I don't think. It takes you forever to do even simple skits. It definitely comes with experience. Like, I've been working on this stuff. Like, I've been doing these skits for about a year and a half now. So definitely things get faster over time because you learn a lot of shortcuts and whatnot, and you just get better at things. Like part of the reason why this skit took long was because I was doing something different. So I was learning on the fly kind of thing. So if I were to do the skit again, it wouldn't take as long the second time. But another reason why I get out so many skits is just because I put like a lot of hours in a short amount of time. Like this was basically like most of what I was doing on Friday and Sunday was making the skit. I did some of it on Saturday too, but on Saturday I wasn't feeling well, so I was really fighting with myself to do even like a little bit of editing for this skit. But then like on Sunday, like I woke up and then I put out this skit at 6 p.m. and I'm like, it's 6 p.m. and the only thing I've done all day is edit the skits. Like that was like from when I woke up to 6 p.m. that was all I was doing. So that's part of the reason why they come out so fast. It's just because I spend I like spend like huge blocks of time on them. Dark Deception is a first-person Pac-Man? Really? So yeah, I was gonna say like scenes like this.
I know for sure that I wasn't.
I mean,
where
I guess you wouldn't.
Exactly.
Like you can see it's bouncing back between like looking straight on a pending and looking straight on at subtitles. That was actually really easy to do. Um, like if like I can't do too much of this because I feel like at a certain point it gets like dizzying almost to just keep bouncing between them. But like I could easily, like without taking too much extra time, I could like throw in these kind of shots because this isn't too hard. Uh, it's these shots at an angle that are a bit trickier. But also, I think maybe the other key is to just like not jump between different shots quite as often if I want to be a little quicker. And it'll depend too, like collab skits, like skits where there's another VTuber in it, isn't gonna have these kind of angles and stuff. And the reason why it's not going to have these kind of angles and stuff is because the way I can do it with pending and subtitles is I can film pending and subtitles in from as many angles as I please. Because like I have the characters, I control those characters. But if someone else is sending me footage, then they're sending me footage from like a specific perspective. So everything needs to conform to that perspective. And like I'm already asking people for a lot who are doing skits with me. I don't want to ask them to like film at like 7 different angles on top of that. Plus, on top of that, like even if they could do it, I wouldn't necessarily want them to because like filming at multiple angles like this is complicated enough when I only have to factor in with for 2 characters. If I tried to do it with a 3rd character in there too, it would just be too big of a headache. So like for any number of reasons, some of them accommodating, some of them just practicality, some of them I guess like laziness. I like the skits with like other VTubers in it are just gonna be like the traditional static shot skits. And like you'll get zoom ins on different characters and stuff, but you won't get like a lot of angle changes because like that's just not practical. At the most, maybe like you'll get like a head on shot of pinning or subtitles if like it makes sense. But like yeah. So not every skit's gonna be like this, but this is certainly something I want to try to do more of. Hey, Mitchell Patterson, I'm doing well. How are you? The game is Dark Deception is a mix of Pac-Man meets Five Nights at Freddy's. It freaked you out when you saw some video of it. Interesting. I'll look it up then. I had in my head that Dark Deception was a very different game. Like my initial thought when you guys were talking about Dark Deception was that it would be kind of like Amnesia, the Dark Descent. That's interesting. I'll look into it. I'm obviously not like a big horror game buff, but that would be a cool one to look into maybe. Yeah. So yeah. By the way, side note, if we could, oh here, let me show you nesting for a second because I wanna show something real quick from this scene. So how you nest things together. This isn't exactly like a Adobe Premiere tutorial video, but if you have questions about Adobe Premiere, feel free to ask them. So when you click on a layer, you can see it turns white like this. That's to indicate it's been highlighted. If you hold down Shift, you can click on multiple layers at once, or like if you want to like literally drag, you can drag and highlight what you want. It's a little quicker, but a little less exact, so it depends on what you want. But anyways, you highlight the layers that you want, and then you right click, and it gives you this big drop down menu. I don't know if you guys can see the drop down menu, but one of the options on the drop down menu is called Nest. So you nest it, you accept whatever the name is, unless you specifically want a name for it, and then voila, they're all nested together. And the reason why I wanted to nest them together right now is just because I wanted to do a zoom in on pending. And the way you can do a zoom in is you can see on like there's a bunch of different tabs. Like there's an editing tab, there's a color tab, there's an effects tab, there's an audio tab. Typically speaking, like the tabs I'm gonna use are primarily the effects tab and the audio tab, because even the editing tab, while it does have some functionality, generally speaking, if I'm doing like just timeline editing, it's just easier for me to do it in the effects tab so that I can like mess with the effects like on the fly as I go. One horror game you like is SCP Contaminant Breach or SCP Unity. I haven't heard of that one either. What's that one about? So, okay, so I nested these together, and the reason why I nested them together is because I wanted to do a quick zoom in on pending so you could see something that I'm looking at. And over here you can see like some of the visual effects, the video effects up here. Like by default, motion is going to be one of them, and that's going to deal with like scaling and stuff. And you can see like even though the background typically is very big, like the background's been cut off because I nested it all together, so now the background is kind of locked. But at any rate, so I'm going to zoom in, which is like just upping the scale from like 100 to, at the moment, 177. And then I'm going to turn it so that you can look at Penning. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because from a distance, you can see that Penning has like this hair out of place. From a distance, it kind of looks like that hair out of place kind of looks like Penning's eyebrows. So it kind of looks like Penning's got like a very determined expression. And yeah, I just thought that was funny. So that was the whole point of me nesting and zooming in. And now I will Control Z to undo everything I just did. And see, they're all unnested again. Basically, you're a D-class, just a sort of prisoner, and you have to escape the SCP facility, but there are SCP on the loose, basically things that can hurt or help you. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds kind of cool. So yeah. Let me think. Was there other things I wanted to mention in this skit? I'm just like looking through it now to see if there was other things. I already like went through like the different angles and stuff. I talked about the bleeding and the fog. Oh yeah, there's one thing over here that I liked. Like I can't do a lot of movement with the characters. The characters don't move a ton, or at least they don't move a ton yet. Someday they are going to move more. I actually do have a Vive now, because like back in February I got the Vive, but I've had some difficulty, or not back in February. Back in February, I had like a subathon stream to raise money for a Vive, and I used that money to get a Vive. So now I have one, but I still need to like more properly set up my area for it. And on top of that, like it would probably be helpful if I had a better computer for it, because like this computer is like dying at the moment, and like I'm asking it to, all I'm asking it to do is to stream and have Adobe open at the same time, which, to be fair to the computer, is a bit of an ask, because like Adobe is a heavy program. But like just generally speaking, most things cause this computer to overheat. So like asking it to film in general is difficult. Asking it to film with a Vive on top of that, even though this laptop is capable of doing VR, like it would probably make more sense to get a better computer first. But that's like just an aside. So at some point, like Penny and them are going to be more animated, or at very least that's the goal. There's going to be practicality issues too that I'm going to have to work out and figure out. But at any rate, so characters don't move a whole lot, but they can move a little bit as it is. So there was one movement that I really liked in this. Probably like the thing that I feel is like the best use of movement that I've had. And it's not like a big movement, but it's a good one.
Wow.
Like where subtitles over here is like looking at the wall bleeding.
That's something.
I really liked that. It's not a big thing I can pull off, but I can do that. So, you know. And I'm actually gonna try like different things. Even your PC is running into issues with recording stuff in VR. Yeah, it's tough. Like VR is super impressive technology, but it's also very demanding technology because of how new it is. And like this laptop that I have right now, first off, it's a few years old, so it's gonna be showing its age regardless. But also, when I got this laptop, I didn't intend for any of this because like I wasn't making videos or anything at the time. Uh, my primary use of a computer when I got this computer was writing stuff because my work is I write about hockey, which by the way, uh, the last like I've mentioned this on and off for a little while, but like obviously the last like 5-ish months, hasn't been a great time for hockey writing, for obvious reasons. Uh, but that aside, like when I got this laptop, like my goals with it was I wanted something that would be comfy because I wanted to be able to write wherever I was. So like I wanted something that I could physically pick up and move around. Um, I want like I wanted some so like a laptop was a big thing. I didn't want a huge laptop because again I wanted to be able to physically pick it up and move it around. So I got like a mid-sized laptop. Like this is about a 15-inch laptop, 15-inch screen laptop. Um, I wanted something that could write, obviously, but almost anything could write, so that's not like a big ask. And I wanted something because I wasn't planning on getting a desktop or anything. So like I wanted this laptop to also be powerful enough that it could conceivably play games. So I did go out of my way to get a laptop with a really good graphics card, at least a really good graphics card for the time. So so this is this isn't a bad laptop. Like it's not bad for what I got it to do, but uh like streaming, making videos, doing VR, those weren't things that I was thinking about when I was making my purchasing decision. Uh for the reason that none of those things were like on my radar when I was doing it. So like the next thing I get, hello Instinct, the next computer I get, which the timing is kind of awkward because, of course, the aforementioned this isn't a great time to be a hockey writer thing. So the timing has been a little awkward to get like a computer, but that aside, obviously at some point I am getting a computer, and the computer I get is going to it's gonna have like streaming and filming and like all the video editing and stuff I'm doing in mine. So like I'm gonna get a desktop because it makes more sense for what I'm doing nowadays. Like the laptop, it's nice to have that portability, but what I really need right now is power. So yeah, in my future, at some point, don't know specifically when, but hopefully not too long from now, I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to get a desktop, and hopefully it'll run really nicely and I will be happy. So those are goals. Those are goals. And that was all. That was all to talk about like the VR stuff. But yeah, I do like that like at least I can get subtitles to kind of
Something.
look at this. And there's a program that's out right now, but like this was all filmed in Luppet. And I'm comfy with Luppet at this point, but there are some limitations with Luppet. Amelia has been working on this program. I believe it's called VC Phase, and I've experimented with it a little bit. It's in beta right now, if I remember correctly. It was in beta when I checked it out like a few weeks ago at the very least, and I assume it's still in beta. So it's in the process of being worked on and refined and stuff. And Amelia's been like doing a lot of great stuff with that, and that program has a ton of potential. And one of the things that struck me about that program is like you can move like so that program. As far as I know, VC Face doesn't actually have any integration with like VR tracking. Not that Luppet does either. Both of them have integration with Leap Motion, so you can use Leap Motion with them. And I have heard it, I have heard that VC Face might be a little bit better actually for leap motion than Luppet is, because Luppet wants you to kind of have your leap motion is this, by the way, is this like sensor thing. It's this sensor thing that looks like a like memory stick, like a little flashcard thing. Um, that's got a sensor on it, and what it's meant to do is it's meant to detect your hands so that you can move your hands around, and it'll track your hands. So if you see people on stream and stuff that are doing hand motions, odds are they're doing those hand motions with leap motion. Odds are they're not. They don't have full body tracking. They specifically have the leap motion tracking, and the advantage of leap motion is A, it's cheaper, and B, it's a lot more practical for like a streaming setting or something, because you don't have to wear like all the VR equipment and use all the VR equipment. You can just like have this sensor on, and the sensor is picking up your hand motions. But the limitation of leap motion is that it's janky, and it's particularly janky with Luppet, because Luppet wants the leap motion to be like on your chest. So if you can't find a way to get the leap motion to attach to your chest in like a proper angle and stuff, then it's not going to really work correctly. But what I've been told is VC Face has like functionality so that you can have the leap motion in kind of like a tabletop mode, where it's placed down like next to your keyboard facing up, and then you can kind of use it like that. So that'll be interesting to experiment with. And then also VC Face, like even if all you're using is a webcam, it seems to allow you to move around a lot more. And it also has like facial tracking. So like if you smile with VC Face, your character will smile, and it's not like a one-to-one thing. It's you gotta set it up to do that, because you have to basically say, if your face contorts in this way, then you want it to activate this expression, kind of thing. And sometimes that's a little bit unreliable. Like that, it's better for streams than it is for skits, because with a skit you want as much precision as you can have. So, like, the precision of being able to manually say when an expression is going to happen, it's hard to top that. Like the being able to smile and then have your character smile is a lot more convenient. And if you're doing a stream where you want like your hands free, like it's a lot more practical. But for a skit where your hands don't need to be free necessarily, it's in some ways like better to do it the other way. But that being said, like I tried out like the facial tracking, and the facial tracking's good, and I can see a lot of potential with it. Like if I learn how to like trigger the expressions correctly with my face, it could lead to like penning and subtitles looking a bit more natural. So there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential with VC Face. It's a very, very interesting program that could help a lot of people with a lot of VTubers. For me, I just took a screenshot of my avatar with a smile, which is all right for me. The tracking for my face is a bit iffy since I use headphones and have glasses. Yeah, those things would be a factor too. Yeah, Refunk, you're right. Setting up the expressions is really tough, and it also depends on like your face. Like I've heard from some people that they have more difficulty setting up the expressions than others. Like some people, I guess it depends on like how their face typically rests. Some people like are tend to accidentally trigger expressions. What I noticed when I was experimenting with it is it was really, really easy for me to get my characters to smile, and I guess that's because like I tend to break out its smile a lot by default. Uh, so like getting my characters to smile was fairly easy. But if I wanted to like do an angry expression or I wanted to do a surprised expression, those were the things that were really hard to get the program to recognize. And also like with someone like me, for example, uh, I have a lazy eye. Um, it's been like partially addressed with surgery, so it's not like wandering the same way it used to. But I still don't look at things the way that others do in the literal sense. Like if I want to look at something straight ahead, my eye isn't necessarily tracking to straight ahead because you got to keep in mind that um, that if I look at things dead on, I'm actually looking to the left of everything. So if I want to look at something straight ahead, I actually tilt my head more to the side to accomplish that. Um, and because of that, like the way my eyes track isn't going to be natural to the way like you would expect someone's eyes to track. So it's a limitation with like any kind of this technology with someone like me specifically. Like any kind of facial recognition technology is going to be a little bit different with me than other people, and that's not necessarily something that's insurmountable, but it's just an example of how like everyone's a little bit different. So like getting like a one-to-one experience with everyone is going to be a little different. Um, yeah. Speaking of VR, I wonder if it's possible to do VTubing using the Oculus Quest. Um, I've been told you can adjust the offset left/right. Oh, I should mess with that then. I don't think you can do that with Leopard. I'm assuming you're talking about you can do it with VC Face. I'll have to experiment with that. As far as like the doing streaming with the Oculus, or rather doing VTubing with the Oculus Quest, uh, it'd be difficult because the Oculus Quest was built, and I'm not an authority on these things. Like someone like Dippy or Deep would be much better to talk to about this. And like I'm just kind of like going off the top of my head of what I think I remembered them saying. But the Oculus Quest isn't really good for VTubing because it's made to be this all-in-one thing with the VR headset. But when it comes to like motion tracking with an avatar, you want as many sensors as possible. So like the um, the base stations that come with like a Vive help establish an environment. Like the controllers that you use with a Vive help like uh, establish like where your arms are going and stuff. Uh, with a Vive, there's support for additional trackers if you want to buy like extra trackers for say your legs. Uh, so like an Oculus Rift is limited because it's meant to be this all-in-one system, which means it doesn't have the same like range of trackers that a Vive has. So it's not going to be able to track your movements in the same way that a Vive can. Yeah. Uh, you have a lazy eye, but you're also having a hard time with the smile. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's going to have different challenges. And I imagine what it's going to be is like over time it's going to be a little easier. Like as because the program's still in beta, so like there's still like a lot of work being done on it and stuff. So part of me is like, oh, I should like even though it's already usable and it already has like a lot of functionality. Part of me is like, I should wait until like it's I should give it more time to develop before like really making it my primary thing. Especially because I'm already comfy with Muppet. But that being said, like definitely I plan to do more with VC Face in the future because it does seem like such an amazing program. Like Amelia's doing amazing work. You also found that helping the webcam below the screen helps a lot with blinking in VC Face. My eyes kept closing when I looked around before I did that. Oh, I'll have to keep that in mind. With my current setup, that reminds me, and this is actually something I never thought about, but once I get a desktop, I'm gonna actually need to buy a webcam. Because, like, the thing I'm using as my webcam right now is just, like, literally the laptop's built-in webcam. Um, and that's one of the nice things um, like, this kind of thing, this kind of, like, uh, VTubing, is you don't necessarily need to have a particularly good webcam for it. Like, this is, like, I'm just using, like, the built-in webcam. And I'm sure a lot of people are in a similar situation. So, like, the price of entry for VTubing is not that high. There's obviously a lot of additional costs that you can add on to it to, like, make things smoother or better or whatnot. But, like, the initial, like, cost of trying it out is pretty low. All right, Terrence, have a good day. I should probably start wrapping things up too, unless people like have questions or stuff, like things that they want to ask about the skit or just in general. Before we call it a stream. So I will give a couple minutes for that. With the facial detection in VC face. Oh wait, no, I already read that. Sorry. So yeah. Yeah, this skit was a lot of fun to make, and it was pretty interesting to make because I was experimenting with the different, like, the different angles and stuff. So I had a lot of fun doing this. And I got a lot more skits on the way. And I'm working on, like, some extra projects right now. Like, I mentioned a while back on Twitter this thing called Who's That VTuber, where, like, it's a parody of Who's That Pokemon. So, like, I've started working on that. I wasn't sure at first exactly how to do, like, the basics of it, but I got the basics down. So now it's mostly just what I'm doing is I'm doing, like, it's what Who's That VTuber is going to be is it's going to be, like, with a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different VTubers. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making, like, a template one that'll then use to, like, then I'll then use to make all the others. And it's gonna be fun. I'm enjoying that. And I also have another idea for, like, a big skit that I want to do at some point in the not too distant future. By big skit, like if you remember correctly, I did the Halloween skit where, like, there was a bunch of VTubers that Penny trick-or-treated with, and then I did the April Fool's skit, which was evil Penny looking for minions. So I have another idea for, like, one of those style of skits that I want to do. So I'm gonna I haven't really mentioned that anywhere to anyone yet, and I'm not gonna really go into details yet because I want to do the Who's That VTuber first, like, because that's, like, the kind of overarching thing that I'm doing right now that involves, like, a bunch of different people. So I figure let's get that done first, and then I'll start like asking people, like, do they want to maybe do this thing with me? Like, I'll start sharing the idea and, like, seeing, like, if people are interested. It'll be kind of fun. It'll be interesting because, like, when I did, like, there's always been, or not always, but, like, there's been a lot of VTubers for a while, but there's so many more VTubers than even when I did the April Fool's thing, like, 4 months ago. And, like, one of the things that I like to do, like, I want to, like, whenever I do those big skits, I want to, like, have a lot of people that I'm already familiar with, but I also want to use that as a chance to, like, do things with people that I haven't done things with before, and, like, kind of have this way of meeting new people. like getting familiar with new people, because whenever I write a skit with involving someone, like I need to get familiar with them. So it's a great opportunity for me to try and uh, learn more about all these different people, and hopefully, I'll be able to do that, because it's been a little while, and I've gotten to the point now where like I've forgotten about the nightmare that is editing one of those skits enough that I can like I can like say, yeah, I'll do this, and then like 48 hours before the skit is due to come out and I'm editing it, I'll just be like, why did I ever decide to do this? You know, why would I do this to myself? It's so it's so time consuming, and it can be kind of stressful because like for those skits I have like a specific date that they need to come out. And I do that intentionally so that like they won't just linger forever. It's important to me that those skits come out at a very it's important that they're going to come out. Otherwise, they're just never going to come out. Is the reality of the situation. Like one of the things, like if you guys remember, I had this thing called the Kitten Wars, which was my first attempt at a big collab, and I learned a lot of things from that about doing a big collab. One of them being that having a unmovable deadline is vital to having a big collab ever come out, because otherwise these things are going to get pushed back, and it's not and then it's like, oh, then it's kind of sad, because like it's a lot of time that got, you know, that didn't have a result at the end of it. But yeah, so yeah, those are plans for the future. Obviously, like in the interim, I got a lot of smaller skits. I got some more collab skits coming. I got some more like just general silly skits. I want to have skits with voiceover, more building on the romantic subplot there. I want to have skits where Penning starts going to school. So there's going to be, and the skits where Penning goes to school, I want to try and integrate other. I've mentioned this on Twitter, and I've talked to some people about it. I want to try and integrate people into that. Like it's going to be challenge. Well, it's not going to be challenging, but like I'm going to be pulling from like people that there's going to be some people that are teachers, but there's also like people that I want to like pull from like younger VTubers as well, like younger looking VTubers, because obviously Penning is like 10 years old. He's going to a class for people of that age range. So it's better if like he's like in a class with characters that look like they could conceivably be in that class. And there's not most VTubers, their avatars are adult for obvious reasons because they're adults. But like for this specifically, it's more practical to do it with like I'm very expressive with my hands. I'm noticing, so like getting leap motion working would be nice because I'm moving my hands a ton. So it would be nice to have like other young characters in it, or at least characters that look young or sound young, so that even if canonically that character isn't young, they can pass as being like a member of the school for the purposes of this skit. So even if they're canonically an adult, if the character looks like it could be young and the person sounds like younger, then it works well enough because like, you know, it is what it is kind of thing. So yeah, so I'm excited about that because I want to do like little kind of school adventures with Penning and like have like different scenarios and stuff. So like I'm working on the romance subplot. I'm working on the I want to set up like the Penning goes to school like chain of thing. I got the other Penning who's eventually going to have his journey to finally ultimate cookie. Like if you remember correctly, the older model of Pending like cloned himself, which is the Pending that like we've been following the clone Pending. But there's also that other Pending that went away to go find the ultimate cookie. And that wasn't just like a throwaway thing to get rid of him. I actually want to follow his adventure to find the ultimate cookie. So I've actually written some skits with that, and I got some footage for that. So it's a matter of like doing like editing and stuff. And so you're gonna have like that subplot happening, and then I got the Stickman character that I'm gonna flesh out more in future skits. So there's a lot of different things that I want to try and like figure out. You could be the science teacher. Yeah, you could be the science teacher. I'm definitely gonna need a bunch of different teachers. So I do need like older looking characters as well. So like it's gonna be a combination of them and like different. The way I have it in my head, like different skits are gonna have different characters. What I'd kind of like is for the school arc characters to be somewhat recurring. So like if I establish this character's in Penning school, then Penning could conceivably visit this character multiple times. Like there could be different combinations of the characters and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to try and pull off. And hopefully I'll do that okay. So yeah, I want to try a lot of different things. Yeah, the hello fellow kids. And it's like the elderly person with the skateboard. Yeah. How many clones deep am I? Let's see. So I got evil Pending. I got clone Pending. I got virus Pending, like the Pending that has the virus in him. I got the 2D Pending. And I want like there to be other Pendings as well. Like at a certain point, I want like different animal Pendings, like a hamster Pending, and like maybe a dog Pending, and like different animal themed Pendings. But that's gonna take longer because like the thing about like different Pendings, is that like you know you need more models. The more characters you have, the more models you have, and there's other non-Pending characters that I want to get models for first. Like, for example, you haven't seen her yet, but actually has voiceover has his own counterpart to Pending, and her name is Q, like Q as in a QE. And yeah, and so like at some point, like I'm gonna commission that model. So like there's a whole bunch of things I want. And also, as an aside, I I've been kind of debating about it. I'm always scared to like try and like get like a recurring like voice actor or voice actress, but I want to try and find one for QE because QE is like someone that I wouldn't be able to voice, and because subtitles and voiceover both have like text to speech, I'd rather she not have text to speech. So at some point, I'm gonna have to look into that too. But yeah, just contact me if you want to do that. Sure thing. You're lurking in my Discord servers. Sounds good. Yeah. And always feel free. You can reach out to me too. Like my DMs are open if people want to talk to me or ask me questions or whatnot. So people can DM me if they want to DM me. And yeah, I think that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion thing. This was fun for me. I might do more of these, like these streams where I talk about a skit. Let me know if you guys liked this and you guys would like to do this again. Because if people like this and want to do it again, then I would be happy to do more of these in the future. Or if people liked the happy fun time end of the party thing at the end of the videos, I did that a couple times as an experiment. If you guys would rather that, feel free to let me know that. Or if you guys like the idea of doing both, I could conceivably do both. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what people's preferences are, and we can do these. Did Dino send me that? Yeah, Dino did send the Undertale clip. Yeah, I liked it. The one where Dino was doing the Penny impression. I thought that was cool. So yeah. Okay. On that note, thank you guys so much for being here with me. My instinct is to rate someone, but obviously, YouTube doesn't have rating. But let me check something really quick. Let me talk amongst yourselves for just 1 second. I wanna look up something before we leave. Okay, yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Give me 1 second. 1 second. We're gonna do something a little weird. We're gonna attempt to do something a little weird. So as you know, YouTube, you can't raid with YouTube, which is something I wish you could do. That's like YouTube. I really wish they would add some additional functionality to it. But at any rate, so Argama Witch is currently streaming on YouTube. So if you guys after the stream could go there, I just posted the link, and like it's kind of like a raid because like we're gonna check out YouTube. We're gonna check out Argama's stream. Hello, Alter. I'm so sorry. We're just wrapping up now. But there'll be a VOD later if you're interested in that. We talked about like the making of the skit and stuff, so you might find that interesting. But if not, there'll be more streams in the future, and hopefully you can come to some of them, and or there's skits to watch if you haven't seen skits. And yeah, so okay, I'll see you guys later. If you decide to visit Argama afterwards, tell her that it was a pending raid. And you guys all have good days, and I'll see you again soon. And thank you again for coming. Bye bye.